לקשר עצמי לכל הצדיקים האמיתיים, בשביל אני לכל הצדיקים האמיתיים, שוכחים הקדוש מה שבא רצנו מבחד רבנו הקדוש, צדיק יסוד עולם, נחנו ובכוח חוכמה רבנו, נחנו מפגן. נחמן, מאומן, זכותו תגן עלינו ועל כל ישראל אמן. תורה זין תעניינה, אריה. ליקוטי מוהר"ן. Or if you want to share it there, whatever you want. Or you... ליקוטי מוהר"ן תעניינה, 1 second. תורה זין, עוד ב', section 2. Where do we stand? עוד ב', ורחמן. Who read last night?
No idea.
Yeah, it's Eric's turn now.
I think because you made us all wait, I think you should go first.
Whoa.
Okay, Ari, בכבוד. Little recap?
Yeah, little recap.
Yeah.
Okay. Rabbi Nachman starts off the lesson explaining to us that the main midah a manhig, a leader, has to have is rachmanut. He has to be a compassionate person. And Rabbi Nachman says compassionate not by the definitions of what we think is compassionate, being always nice and always this and always amicable to someone else, but more along the lines of understanding what the person needs and giving him the advice or the direction that he needs according to the man's level. And Rabbi Nachman gives the example of feeding a kid according to what he can eat. And why he uses that example, we'll see later as we go on to the lesson. Everything Rabeinu uses, every single prat, every single detail Rabbi Nachman uses. Michael, good to see you, bro. Grab a drink also if you want, whatever it is. Sit next to Ari, this, that. Good to see you, actually. You good? Baruch Hashem. So, Rabbi Nachman says the main midah, the main character trait that a leader has to have is compassion. And that compassion, only a real tzaddik can have such a compassion like this. Because what? He needs to understand what the person is going through. And now he's going to explain, a tzaddik needs to understand for a little person to give him this and this remedy, and for a big person this and this remedy, this type of food and this type of thing. So the etzah is going to differ, the advice is going to differ for each and every single person according to the madriga. And that's where we got left off, and now we're here in Od Bet. Ari Bechava.
Okay. Need help translating.
That's fine.
ורחמן כזה הוא רק משה רבנו, so like someone who's merciful, I guess, is only Moshe Rabbeinu, כי הוא היה מנהיג ישראל, because he was the leader of Israel, והוא יהיה המנהיג לעתיד, and will be the leader in the future, כי מה שהיה הוא שיהיה וכו', because what was will be, וכו'. כי משה רבנו היה לו רחמנות באמת על ישראל, because Moshe Rabbeinu had real רחמים on Bnei Israel.
Rachmanut באמת, yeah, it's like a genuine rachamim. It's not a rachamim stam, just a rachamim, oh, he had rachamim on it. Because Rabbi Nachman's going to say later, there are people that can pretend to have compassion on the Jewish people, or they think they have true compassion on the Jewish people, but the truth is they don't really have the true compassion. And it's very hard because to understand, to be able to take this mantle of authority for the Jewish people requires a person has azut, dikdusha, to take the mantle, but also anava, to understand that he's a true rachaman. But to do that means you need to step up to the plate, and that obviously can vary because there are plenty of people we've seen throughout history take the step up to the plate and have not been fitting of that midah rachmanut. So Rabbi Nachman saying it's very dangerous, whichever you take. And Rabbi Natan in Likutei goes into Lichot Tefillin, explains in Lichot Tefillin Achavav about the inyan of anava. And sometimes anava, a person might have a certain amount of anava, but it leads into gava because he thinks he's capable of helping someone else. And then his ga'ava allows him to, or his maybe small level of anava pushes him to take something that isn't his, to wear talit that's not his. Meaning to conduct himself at a greater level than where he actually stands. That falls into ga'ava. And what's the inyan of what Rabbi Nachman says is anava? Shivu ish tartav. Each person sit below your place. Meaning what? That Rabbi Nachman says there's 4 levels of anava. There's the anava of seeing yourself lower than someone who's higher than you. That's an easy level of anava. Because only a ga'avtan is going to think that he's the highest, where even someone who's clearly higher than him, he thinks he's higher than him. That's a very, very low level of a person. So that's the first level of anava. To see yourself lower than someone else who's higher than you. A tzaddik, this or this. To see yourself lower than someone who's equal to you. See yourself lower than someone who's lower than you even. That's the third level, which is very, very hard. And the hardest one, or even harder than all these three, is to sit yourself below your place. Maybe the last one is not as hard, I'm not sure, but to sit yourself below the madriga you're standing on. Meaning what? If you are holding here, it's actually to pick yourself or holding yourself below where you're holding. To not to fall under the impression that you're standing at that place.
That's baki bashov. Baki baratzot.
It's a form of baki beratzo, but it's not the same thing. Baki beratzo is okay. You're doing well, but you're not that close.
But you're aware that you're not
correct.
close. So
Correct.
you're like,
Right.
okay,
So,
I think
right.
I'm at a level, but
Right.
I'm absolutely extremely far away from it.
Right. Emet. Right. Exactly. No, but emet, because to prevent you from falling into gava.
Yeah.
Emet. No, you're right. 100%. And he's going to speak about the Inyan Baki Beratzo Baki B'Shav later. So, Chavod. Grab a drink, bro, and everything. So yeah, there is you're right that there is a connection between the Inyan. There's a connection. Mandy, if you wanted the Likutei Moharan up there, or you see up. You see the little blue one over there? Up.
Blue. The only
Left.
blue.
The small, yeah, small.
Yes, sir.
So you're right that you have to pick yourself below your own madrega so that you can make sure you do not fall into gava. And this is a very hard inyan. This inyan of rachmanut. So when he says rachmanut be'emet al Yisrael, it's not just stamany rachmanut. It has to be genuine rachmanut. The same way you think anava is anava, but the truth is our perception of anava is skewed and it's messed up
We have no idea.
because we don't understand what true anava is.
Mm-hmm.
So it means to take away what we think we know and to really understand what true compassion is. And continue. Umasa.
Umasa nafsho b'shvil Israel, and he was like mosar nafsho on all Bnei Israel. V'shlich nafsho mineged, v'lo haya choshesh al atzmo klal. What does that mean?
He threw his soul from his side, meaning like he wasn't makpid on himself at all.
He didn't care.
To the point where he didn't care about himself at all.
What's choshesh mean?
Choshesh means to suspect, but he didn't give himself attention. There was nothing there for him. Moshe Rabeinu, Rabbi Nachman lays out three things. Masar nafsho b'shvil Yisrael. He gave his soul for the Jewish people. He shlich nafsho mineged, meaning to the next extent, he cast his soul aside for the souls of the Jewish people, and he did not pay attention to himself at all, meaning everything, begashmiut, everything, at every single...
Rabbi Nachman did that?
No, Moshe Rabeinu, he's explaining, but Rabbi Nachman had the same midah, for sure. And anyone in the Bechina and the soul of Moshe Rabeinu has this midah of anava, where you are able to completely cast yourself aside for the greater good of the Jewish people. And that means even Poshe Yisrael, even a sinner. Which means Moshe Rabeinu was willing to give himself up for a person who was Oved Avodah Zarah as a Jew. They just did the Eged. He was really willing to give himself up for all of Am Yisrael. Meaning what? Like if you're not going to erase their sin, erase me from your book. Moshe Rabbeinu is willing to erase himself completely to the highest degree to die for another Jew, which is another level of anava. Not only in anava to look at yourself below your place, but in anava though you're looking at you're below another Jew. You're below someone over there. And for the tzaddik I meant to do that is something. It's a very high madriga, obviously. So that's his anava.
That's real rachamim.
That's real rachamim and that's real anava.
Yeah.
So rachmanut is obviously connected, as it says, im tisachatata. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're not going to get rid of their sin, etc., etc. Erase me from your book that you've gotten, So continue with the pasuk. Ki Hashem yitbarach.
Ki Hashem yitbarach amar lo, Hashem said to him, Ve'etzcha legoi gadol, I'll make from you a great nation. Ve'hu lo hishkiach al ze klal, and he wasn't he didn't give his okay.
He didn't even he didn't pay attention to this at all. That offer wasn't an offer for him. He didn't allow himself to happen.
רק אמר, אם תישא חטאתם וכולי. He only said like the whole passage he just mentioned about erasing his name.
Exactly. Ki?
כי הוא היה רחמן ומנהיג אמיתי, because he was a real merciful leader, a true merciful leader. והיה עוסק ביישובו של העולם. He was dealing with the dwelling of the world.
Yeah, the settling of the world. I mean, he wanted Hashem's Rahmanut to allow to be bestowed on the world so that the world could go on, continue. The world could build, continue in its, you know what I mean, in its course. Yeah. And we see this with the Adam Rishon, that Hashem didn't give us the Torah for 26 generations, so that the world can be involved in Derech Eretz and Yishuv Olam, like the world can be settled, build people, build generations, etc., etc. So Moshe Rabeinu was willing to give himself up for that.
Wow.
And no matter what that Jew was, because we know Moshe Rabeinu was the highest, but that means if he was willing to give up himself for Am Yisrael, it means he looked at himself as below below a Jew who was even lower than him. That's a level of anava that's very, 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 very big.
No one's like that today.
Yeah, it's very hard to find that because it requires someone who there's no more chomriyut, there's no more corporeality, there's no more materialism within that man. The man is completely removed from gashmiut. It's not, and that's obviously very hard. You have to completely remove yourself, completely remove your own opinions, this, that. It doesn't matter anymore. Because Lefi halacha, okay, Moshe Rabeinu might be serving Torah and someone else might be like this and like this and like this. He doesn't have any obligation to give himself up for that person.
Right.
But no, it's v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha to the highest degree.
Right.
And that's a rachama. That's someone you want as a manhig. Rabbi Nachman speaking, aside from a logical perspective, a very emotional perspective. Stop thinking that a rachama needs to be a chacham, it needs to be a this, and it needs to be a this. Of course, a rachama needs to be a chacham. He needs to have that, etc. And we're going to see here that true rachmanut is connected and dependent on that consciousness. That to have true rachmanut, you need to have that. But Rabbi Nachman is saying, and that is the chibur between chesed and gvura, which is true rachmanut. Rachmanut is the same thing.
Tiferet?
It's the middle pillar. Chesed, gvura, rachamim. So that's the midah of tiferet. It's the midah of Hashem Havaya. And that's why Moshe Rabeinu was able to reveal. Ushmi Hashem nolodati lahem. Hashem tells Moshe Rabeinu, my name of Yud Kei Vav Kei, I did not tell the Avot HaKadoshim. Only you.
Wait, why? Was he?
Because Moshe Rabeinu had attained a new level of Hasaga of Hashem, that he was able to draw down the Rachmanut of the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. But that name did not get brought down into revelation before. It was not something that was revealed. Hashem revealed to them in Shem Elokim, in Shem Adin, but Midat Adin, but not in a Midah of Rachmanut like Shem Havaya.
Yeah.
So Moshe Rabbeinu was able to tap into that. And why? Because he's Rachmanu Manhig Amiti, he's a true leader. And it developed for years, as he was tending to the sheep of Lot, etc., to the sheep of Yitro, etc., for years. And hurting himself to be able to save an animal. So all the more so from an animal to a human being, where Moshe Rabbeinu was able to have true Rachmanut. And where do we see how Moshe Rabbeinu also had the midah of Azudi Dusha, which gets us to understand that we don't really understand what Rachmanut is. It's not being completely gentle all the time. Whenever Moshe Rabbeinu hits the Mitri, Moshe Rabbeinu hits the Mitri, and Moshe Rabbeinu is able to affect certain judgments in the world because he needs to, but that's true Rachmanut.
Yeah, it's the perfect balance between Chesed and Gvura to lead.
Exactly. Whenever it needs to be Gvura, it needs to be. Whenever it needs to be Chesed. Moshe Rabbeinu understands that though. Yeah. And to understand it, you need to have that because the dat is able to discern between the right and the left.
Moshe was dat, no?
Moshe is dat. Moshe is a dat of Zah, which is of Zeir Anpin.
He's also a Netzach though? How does that work?
Moshe Rabbeinu, yeah, it's all connected. Moshe Rabbeinu's shoresh was rooted in that of Zah, which is upper shoresh is rooted in the Yesod of Abba, which is the Yesod of Chokhmah.
Okay.
And Rabbi Nachman explains all these
things.
And the Ari HaKadosh, it's a little deep and stuff, but it's all connected. How we get into the Sfirot and the Partzufim and how Moshe Rabbeinu is considered Netzach and not that. It's all complicated stuff that I myself don't fully comprehend to the depth that we need to, but it's all connected. Okay. So now Rabbi Nachman is going to explain what it is to have Rachmanut and what it is to be called a ben adam, what it is to be an adam.
Shia Olam Yushav Ben Adam, so that the world can be like dwelled by man. Kikar Adam Hu Adat, because the ikar of a man is the dat. Umi she'en lo dat, and whoever does not have dat, eno mi hayishuv eno mechune b'shem Adam kalam. Wow. He's not part of like the yishuv, like the.
Part of the world, the settlement. He's not part of this world. He's not considered part of Yeshua.
And he's not considered a man at all.
Yeah, he's not called Adam Klal. A person who has no dat is not considered.
So this is like the goyim, basically.
Yeah. By the way, the goyim are not called Adam. It's a known thing in the
Because
Zohar
that-
Kadosh and the Gemara.
What does no doubt meaning then?
Huh?
What does it mean then?
No consciousness, no dat,
Like no awareness of Hashem.
no awareness of Hashem,
So
no connection. There's nothing there. That's a little bit thing. It's meaning it's true
So goyim.
knowledge of Hashem.
Adam, behemoth, animals.
Avodat Kochamim are not called Adam. Only Bnei Israel are called Adam. And even a Jew who's not considered doesn't have dat of Hashem, who's far from the Torah, is not considered an Adam either.
To me, I don't know if you guys relate to this in the same way, but the way I think about that is, I feel like there are almost two modes in my head when I'm living in reality. Sometimes I'm just like so caught up in like, just like in the flow of things and like maybe eating or like running errands and like it's just like I'm in such a small consciousness that like I don't think like larger thoughts. But then sometimes I like really am aware that wow, I'm in this earth, I'm in this body, and like I am a present of Hashem. And when I eat, I'm like okay, like I'm just like feeding myself, and I'm much more cognizant of everything that's going on and my time. And I feel like to me that's when I'm in a state of dat.
Right.
Is
Mochin de Gadlut.
Yeah, do you guys, is that similar to you guys?
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Yeah, being very like, aware of just like, oh wow, like, do you also have that experience?
I feel like everyone does. You can't live in that mochin de gadlut your whole life, bro. Else you're gonna be like,
You can't move.
You're gonna disintegrate, bro. You're actually gonna leave. You'll probably perish, bro.
Yeah, but that's yes, and
Well, not thinking?
No. Being in like that,
It's
Hashem
beyond.
runs the world 24/7, like always thinking that and being like, whoa, you know.
Being connected. You really. There is intention behind what you are doing.
Yeah.
There's kavanah behind it.
right.
Meaning, I'm praying, I'm listening. Rabbi Natan says, what is kavanah? When you listen to the words that are coming from your mouth. How many times do we pray Tfilat Amidah or we do Hibodadut and for an hour, for this long, we're saying words, but they never hit us until maybe they're okay netzor.
I heard this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what my rabbi told me. He's like, some people just go on mincha, they pray, like it's like part of their schedule. They don't like, just like on autopilot, like they're just praying to pray. They don't actually like, understand what they're saying.
This rabbi was saying, if you want the best business ideas, they always come up during Shemona Esrei.
It's true because you
It's
have
sad, bro.
all the chokhmot chitoniot, all the
Yeah.
mashavat zarot coming to hit you during tefillah. Rabbi Nachman says specifically during tefillah, because tefillah is so high that's when all the klipot are attached, because tefillah is malchut. It's the lowest, but it's the highest madriga.
What about random thoughts when you're praying Amidah, like random thoughts here?
Like Lakers and stuff.
Like yeah, like random stuff.
Well, that's why you have to. Rabbi Nachman says the only true way to get rid of all foreign thoughts is whenever you're mikadesh, whenever you're sanctifying yourself properly.
How do you do that?
Years of avodat Hashem and tefillah and begging Hashem to be able to be kadosh and proper machshavot and eat boded. The real way to attain that, well, Rabbi Nachman says in Torah Nun Bet to go do. It's obviously it's all the etzot of Rabbi. All of Likutei Moharan is how to attain that, to break your tavot. It's mikveh. It's studying halacha and applying the halacha. When you cannot apply the halacha, it's praying. It's what? It's hitbodedut. It's waking up chatzot.
Talking to Hashem.
It's chatzot. Hitbodedut.
Simcha. Shulchan Aruch mikveh chatzot
hitbodedut. Hashkecha. Simcha.
The other thing I was gonna say was I know people always say this, but I just realized it today when I was whatever if someone's eating, but like whatever you're in the bathroom and like you think you do that and then you eat food and you have desires for whatever and you have things like that and you kind of like realize wow, like you are in a weird way in a full animal,
right? You're 100%.
Like you go to the, like something comes out of you, like you eat,
right.
like
So
you're feeding yourself, and then
It's very true.
you just do like these animalistic behaviors with
It's
another
very true,
person, a mate, and then the only thing that separates us is like our dot and our speech.
So true.
It's really
Really
crazy.
good point.
It's very crazy.
serious?
And by the way, 100%. And when you're not in the state of true speech and true dibur, which Rabbi Nachman in Torah Chavtet is tov, when there's no tov in your dibur, and a person cannot have tov in his dibur because he's not bringing dat. What does Rabbi Nachman say is tov? It's dat. So when you're not bringing dat into your dibur, when there's no kavanah in your dibur is not dibur. And if you're not speaking and you're not bringing dat into your life, you're not ben adam. Rabbi Nachman saying
You're an animal.
you're an animal.
Yeah.
So, by the way, that's what mamash what he says.
Adam is aleph dam. It's blood. You're just blood.
Correct. But the aleph is what? It's everything
dot.
else. Exactly. And that's why Rabeinu says in Torah Vav, whenever you stay silent through the embarrassment, that's what creates the Adam. Why? Because the silence is a high level of consciousness. Siag lechochma, shtika.
For sleeping.
Offense for wisdom is silence.
Right.
So in Pirkei Avot, when it says silence, mamash, that's how you train true chokhmah, which is what Ben Adam is.
Yeah.
A Ben Adam that's part of the yishuv of the world is Adam. Why was Adam called Adam? Because he had dat, he had chokhmah. Hashem gave him chokhmah and dat. That's what a true Adam is. So the second you see yourself completely engaging like an animal, on autopilot, eating like a pig, etc.
Sleeping.
But I'm saying sleeping spiritually. You can be sleeping, but you can be sleeping a sleep of kedusha.
Yeah. The whole Likutei halachot on it for Yitzhak Tadayim.
Exactly.
The Rashimu and
Exactly. All the light that you're taking from the bitul, bringing it back down. But when a person goes to bed in the early nights of sleep, for example, and really decides to have kavanah in the sleep that he does, right? And he goes to bed early, 8, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. even. And he decides with kavanah he's going to wake up early to start avodat Hashem. That sleep is a sleep of mitzvah.
it's very different than falling asleep at 12 with your phone on your face.
Yeah.
It's a world of a
the
difference.
intention.
And by the way, that's what separates tzaddikim and the rest of people. And it's actually crazy. It comes down to that one thing. It's sleep.
And how you go to sleep and how you wake, like how you go to sleep is how you wake up.
But look at your sleep on Friday nights compared to the weekend, the weekdays. Like Friday nights, like no phone. It's just you, Hashem, your head.
It's true.
You're like
It's true.
you're like in your thoughts.
I get a
for
visitor on
30
Friday night
minutes
sometimes.
before bed.
What did he say?
So I get some unhappy visitors.
I swear Friday night is like the best sleep ever because like it's you,
Just
your
go hide over
thoughts,
It's true.
and you're falling asleep to your thoughts.
But it's deeper than that. It goes deeper than just the sleep of a certain night of the week. Because yes, it's true that Friday has a certain level of kedusha and sanctity, that there's no klipot, itbardu kol po'alehav, and all the klipot run away on Shabbat. But specifically that kavanah, I'm going to bed in the first part of the night. And it's the hardest thing, especially in a society which values nighttime. And it's the biggest gain in this world. It's the biggest
But Moshe,
delir.
let me tell you something.
biggest-
As someone who can, at least I think I can feel a difference when I'm very rarely in a state of that versus not. Sometimes I'll get in that state and it's like whoa. It's like I feel yira. I feel like what everything I do matters and.
Right.
But then I get scared. Like I can't live my life like this.
100%.
Like Ari was saying.
Yeah, you can.
But
it's not fun.
Impossible.
But the goal is to get to a
Shoot.
no, but I'm saying the goal
You
is
see what I'm saying?
because it's not consistent. But the goal is if you were at that level of consistency where you are constantly feeling the fear of Hashem, it's a certain level of feeling our mochin de galut versus that tzaddikim mochin de galut. If we were feeling our mochin de galut constantly, we would get to very high levels. But the tzaddikim's mochin de katnut is infinite levels beyond our mochin de galut.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The tzaddik's yerida is our aliyah times 1,000. And it's hard to understand, but that's because their consciousness is so great. They don't have mashavot zavod. They've gotten rid of every single thing gashmi in the world. Like Rab Shmuel Isaac, when Rab Shmuel Isaac saw Eliyahu Navi running, and he asked Eliyahu Navi, "Where are you running?" He said, "To the heart of the world." He said, "Who's the heart of the world?" The Blessed Chassidim. And they said, "Why?" And he asked why. He said, "Because of Besimcha." And Rab Shmuel Isaac was constantly engaged in this avodat Hashem of being the Bar Tfilah. He got the Mesorah of Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Natan to engage in Tfilah constantly. Rabbi Nachman taught him to be a Bar Tfilah. He left his home Motzei Shabbat and came back Erev Shabbat Kodesh. Why? Because the entire week he's spending in the forest screaming to his limbs to stop engaging in the
This is
Gashmi.
Rabbi Nachman's student.
Yeah. And he looked at one time Rabbi Shmuel Isaac came to Rabbi Nachman with his wife. And they both come into the room with Rabeinu, and the wife starts complaining to Rabbi Nachman that he didn't bring parnasah to the table. So she's like, Rabbi, give this man a seder so that he can go to work, bring me a parnasah because I have no money, and he can do avodat Hashem. Rabeinu sent out a seder for him in that moment, how much he should work, how much he should pray, the he'd to do it in the morning, the he'd to do it at night, this, that. When the wife left the room, Rabbi Shmuel Isaac comes back and he asks Rabeinu alone. He says, Rabeinu, be'emet lamito, what's the real answer? He said, the real answer, avodat Hashem. These tzaddikim were at a level where it wasn't a matter of stam, of this and that, of how much parnasah they were making. They weren't engaged with that. That's what we were talking about yesterday in the chat, like what we said. When someone came to Rabbi Nachman and asked him, Rabbi, like I don't have parnasah, what do I do? And Rabbi Nachman said, what are you asking me these trivial matters? What do I have to do with these things of Gashmiut? Ça va, papa?
Don't listen to
What do you have to do with these things of Gashmiut in this world? So people, how many groups of Chassidut and how many things of this are based on? How much money they can like this? It's not a thing in Breslev. I don't see it. I don't see this inyan of money. It's not a big thing. You'll never see a big. I haven't seen it anywhere. These inyanim of grand things and this and this and this, because there's nice things for Kedusha. Of course, we're trying to be me'adan and mitzvah, give people yeshivot to study Torah and this and this and this and this. But Rabbi Nachman's inyan was not money at all. He didn't care about it, to be honest. And yes, he said it in Chayei Moharan, every Jew needs a parnasah, and he brings it down in Torah Samech Vav. We're going to get to this in this Torah, Torah Zayin, about the inyan of parnasah and how important it is. To have shayachut with the malchut, to have connection with the malchut, because that's where the parnasah is drawn from. But to run after money, it wasn't a thing for him. So when a student came to him, he said, what are you doing? Talking to me about parnasah. You don't see that I'm walking through a desert trying to build a yishuv in a desert? Trying to build a yishuv in the desert of your heart? To create a place in your heart that the Shekhinah can reside, and you're asking me about money? When my entire life is dedicated to bringing you guys to a higher level of consciousness to serve Hashem. So yes, a Jew needs to go earn money, but when a person has true emunah and true thing, it's not a question. He's not going to ask himself of where his money is going to come from. Like it says in the Gemara, a person who asks himself the question what he's going to eat tomorrow, what is he? Michusarei emunah. He has a lack of faith. So, because for Rabbi Nachman, it's not a question. Hashem provides every single person what they need. As it says, every single day, we say it 3 times a day. You know what I mean? So, all of this wasn't a question for him. And he's trying to bring us to the consciousness to have trust in Hashem that it's not a question. Focus on the things that count. Because Basof, you can pray for Parnasah, change this and this. The only reason why we want to change our parnasah is because we lack true God. Because if we really understood what Hashem was giving us, that's all we need. Hashem gave everything you need. Now, it doesn't mean that we should not pray. We should pray. But the more a person gets his ratzon to nullify himself to Hashem's ratzon, the more he realizes where the prayer transforms into. The direction of the tefillah. It's no longer of how much money I want more. It's more of Hashem. Give me simcha in the parnasah that I have. Give me the midah of histabkut, of sufficiency. Give me the midah of samer bechelki. Give me the midah that my parnasah be able to bring simcha to my wife. And help me earn a parnasah binyan emunah, that I should do masah matan emunah. Help me not fall into the chitzoniut the pnimiut machshava. When I go to work, it's not affected by the chitzoniut. Because Rabbi Nachman said when you go to work, the chitzoniut machshava should be bound to the business, but the pnimiut machshava is bound to the dinei Torah, to the laws of Torah. So help my pnimiut machshava be bound to the dinei Torah. Help every single kavanah, every single step, every single speech that I do within my work, help it be for the kavanah, the greater kavanah of giving tzedakah, like Rabbi Nachman says. So when you do that, and you start to see yourself moving from the gashmiut of this world, because you begin to realize that all these tavot are worth nothing. The desire for niyuv, the desire for money, the desire for food, and this and this and this. When you begin to realize how much that takes away from your life, be'emet lamito. Instead of trying to give the excuse, but yeah, this is good. We need this and this and this. I mean, I'm saying stop thinking low level. Aim for the moon, aim for the stars, aim for a madriga that's extremely, extremely high.
When a person has like these desires to like make money, to like have materialistic things, like how do you calm that desire down? Like
tefillah. That's it. That's the only answer. True tefillah.
So when you pray to Hashem, like Hashem, please give me
And Torah.
help me be successful so I could give tzedakah to this person, help this person, like.
That's great, but I can have a better tefillah than that. Hashem, because I can tell you one thing. If you haven't gotten rid of your ta'avot yet, that tefillah of Hashem, give me more money so I can give more tzedakah to someone, is lo lishma.
Yeah, it's low.
And I'll call it out to anyone who's... I know, I'm not saying... By the way, that question, everyone prays like that, is what I'm saying. And the reason why it cannot be like that is because, why are you asking for more money? What's the real kavanah? Because you want to feed yourself more.
You know what?
And by default, you can help others.
You know what Natan Rizan said on that? He said, you think Hashem needs you to give tzedakah to that person?
He doesn't need you. So, exactly. And that's the difference between a person who has true da'at, mechune b'shem adam, versus a person who's lying to himself. Rabbi Nachman says, Ha'olam lo yatu otcha. What I've done to my students is that the world will not mislead them. Don't lie to yourself. Mislead them. You cannot mislead yourself when there's a emet staring you in the face. Because Rabbi Nachman will tell you, yeah, at least pray. If you want more parnasa, pray to Hashem, but do not pretend to be lishma 100%.
What do you mean, pretend to be what?
Pretend to be for the sake of heaven entirely with your prayer. Because we do things a lot for ourselves. Why do we want more parnasa? Because we want to buy a home. We want to do this, we want to do that.
But that's every tefillah at the end of the day.
Again.
That's everything.
And by the way, I'm saying don't get depressed. Don't get depressed by that.
You know how depressing that is?
But the main point is that it hurts you. And that it hurts you.
It's
That's
so
how you
sad,
know it's
bro.
heaven. It hurts you, and that's why it's important. Because if it continues hurting you, it means you're conscious
But
about the
it
subject.
feels like it's not. It feels like it's not a med at all, and that you shouldn't even be praying for it, bro.
No, because that's what Rabbi Natan
Because
says.
it's so selfish.
That's what Rabbi Natan says in Likutei Tefillot. He wrote something in Likutei Tefillot about the inyan of gava. And anytime he brings up gava, you'll see it. Notice it's funny. Rabbi Natan says in Likutei Tefillot, Hashem, help me get rid of my gava. But what's funny is that I shouldn't even be praying to get rid of my gava, because the fact that I even have ga'ava is in itself the craziest thing. And why is that the case? Because I'm filled with sin. So how is it that I even fall into ga'ava that I should even be praying to you to help me get rid of it? Because that's how blemished I am. The fact that I'm praying for ga'ava, but it's emet. Because Rabbi Nachman's saying, get rid of the shah. Be honest with Hashem. Pray for the parnasa. You're not saying don't pray for it, but be honest that why are you praying for it. So when you're honest about it, what are you going to do at the end of your tefillah or in the middle of the tefillah? Hashem, yeah, it's true. I want more parnasa because I want to afford a little bit of a bigger place. And the truth is, maybe the bit of a bigger place, there is part of the nishma, right? Because you're having kids, you don't want them to sit in a small thing. It's not kavod, right? So there are things that are good in it, but going to the deeper kavanah, maybe not everything is Ishma. So be real with Hashem. And that's when the honest relationship with Hashem becomes a relationship of Adam. That it's not fake, that it's not pretending.
So when there's emet, even though it's like, it sucks to hear,
You can
that's
be
like the
sheker,
best.
but at least be emet at your sheker.
Yeah.
Because who's emet amito, huh?
Then it's no longer sheker.
Exactly. Meaning, you're getting rid of that point. You're getting rid of that nekuda of sheker. At least you're not misleading yourself to recognize that you think you're at the highest level. It means you'll be anav. And Rabbi Nachman says, find the nekuda tova. Find the good point within yourself. Because be'emet, that's the only way to keep forward. If you constantly think about where you're missing, there's a time to do that. And that's your self-reflection. That's your ibonanu. That's your cheshbon nefesh that you do before. You know what I mean? Before you go to bed. That's your hitbodedu time. To judge yourself and mishpat over where you are missing. But the rest of the time you have to be with simcha. And the main thing Rabbi Nachman says for simcha is nekudot tovot. It's an avodat Hashem. Rabbi Nachman not saying this time, it's not a psychological. Rabbi Nachman bypassed everything. He saw it all. He saw everything that works with the brain. He saw every single limb. He understood how everything worked, from the head to the toe. The way Rabbi Nachman said, the second a person walks in front of me and I shake his hand, I know him from head to toe. Meaning what? Every single gilgul from the time of Adam HaRishon until the end. I see it everything. Every Torah in Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Nachman says, I'm able to, I know the way every single limb works, every single organ, every single sinew, and I understand how everything lives. So Rabbi Nachman gave us advice. He speaks about the lungs, how many times? He speaks about the kidneys, how many times? The brain, the mind, the limbs. Tikkun HaKlali, which is Tikkun HaGidin. It's the tikkun for all the sinews. Rabbi Nachman knew it all. He understood everything. So when he's giving you a piece of advice for this and this and this, take it to the bank. Because Be'emet, he knew what was up. And he saw you coming too also. So he gave the advice from the highest point to the biggest tzaddik that when they open up this book, they see completely different letters and completely different writing. To the biggest rasha that sees a completely different thing, when he's in his Geinam and he opens up a word of Rabbi Nachman that says, whatever it is, that if you believe you can damage, believe you can fix, that brings him this man out of Geinam and gives him hope once again. Rabbi Nachman knew what he was doing. Every single dibur was brought out with kavanah, to the point where Rabeinu says in Moharan that not a single breath that leaves my mouth is uttered without chidush. Every breath I take is with chidush. Because the tzaddik knows he's borrowing from Hashem. So when he's breathing, it's a modeh every single second. It's a different madriga of consciousness. So now whenever you start serving Hashem and you start seeing these big things, Rabbi Nachman saying, I want you to see that because it's going to give you the ratzon to attain high madrigot because you can do it. And Rabbi Nachman, when he says that, be'emet, he means it because Rabbi Nachman is not a shakran. If he's saying that you guys can become kamoni mamash, what is he saying? You guys can become kamoni mamash. Rabbi Nachman's kavanah for students was a different thing. It's why he acted differently with those who weren't his students versus those with his students, because he holds us to a high standard. He wants us to attain the levels of tzaddikim. So to break your gashmiyut in this world, Rabbi Nachman's saying the main thing is that you don't fall into Yehush. But it also means to be real and to understand what you're holding. So it's a hard balance between the two because you can fall into complete anabapsula, false humility, which then makes you fall into complete despair, and you can fall into, if you only do nekudot to what you can fall into gava. Rabbi Nachman's saying it's a hard balance between being conscious, being aware, being real, and also yearning for more. And that's where we have to pray to Hashem that, and this is what in the Lichot Tefillin, which then leads into Ashkamat HaBokeh, when he writes over here, what you were saying earlier, like a person does all these things, he goes to the bathroom, he eats this, and sometimes if you're an autopilot, you can really look in retrospect and feel like you're an animal. And look what Rabbi Nathan says over here. It's why you're not allowed to pass gas when you're wearing tefillin. Because tefillin is such a high consciousness of Hashem. Rabbi Nachman, look what Rabbi Nathan says. It's really crazy. It's really unbelievable here. Look what he says here. And it speaks about Anava. Look at this. No. Where is it? Meaning why? To recognize that if a person understands what comes out of his body, what goes in, and how he acts on a day-to-day, look what he says here. כדי שהאדם יבין ויראה שפלותו אם יש לו במה להתגאות. Why is Hashem operate that when a person goes to the bathroom it smells horrible, or whatever it is? Or when he passes gas it smells terrible and all these things. Why is it so, you know what I mean? Why is it so bad? Meaning, why is everything to such an extreme? The food that you eat gets crumbed into something that's grounded into something that's not pleasant at all. Everything that Hashem did, there's everything. There's the beauty of the world and there's also the nature which isn't so pretty. And he explains, והשם יתברך יצר את האדם בחוכמה נפלאה. And this is the real כוונה להשם יצר. שיהיה נעשה מהישת והפסולת סיחון וטינוף כזה, ריח רע כזה. That from the food that you eat turns into waste that is so bad, it smells horrible. כדי שהאדם יבין ויראה שפלותו. So that a person recognizes how low he really is. אם יש לו במה להתגאות, if he falls under the false pretense to think that he can fall, that he can have gava for something. מאחר שיוצא ממנו סיחון כזה, that a stench that bad comes out of you. How can you even have gava? That's why Paro had to go to the Nile every morning, hidden from the sight of the world, to make sure that nobody can think he's a human being. Because the second someone realizes he goes to the restroom, he's not a god anymore. He's low level. And what do we say in Pirkei Avot? לאן אתה הולך, right?
Wasn't Paro like this tall?
He was
He was very small.
He was like this.
Exactly.
So he's like 6 cubes, something crazy.
Like, was he the size of this or
He was
bigger?
really, really ugly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Honestly, he was like a box, bro. I'm not even joking.
So
that's the midrash.
That's crazy.
So what is he saying? What's the
So
gap?
ugly.
What's the air? The air that passes. Yeah, no, you're good.
So it's disgusting.
The air that passes through you is gava. It's a ruach gavoa. It's a ruach of loftiness. So that's why you cannot do it when you're born in tefillin, because it's the exact opposite. Tefillin is shiflut. It's Tchiyat HaMetim, which Rabbi Nachman said, what's true Tchiyat HaMetim? The anava of Moshe Rabeinu, that is sleeping, that you need to awaken. So all these things Rabbi Nachman's teaching us is to give us an understanding of shiflut amiti. And the Rahman amiti, the true tzaddik, because, and this is where we go back to the beginning of the line, the Rahman kaze urak Moshe Rabeinu. Only Moshe Rabeinu is at the madrega where he can be such a Rahman to give you the tools necessary at your madrega to guide you towards Hashem. Because he was the Manhig Israel, and this is the Chidush. Hu yeh Manhig La'atid, and he will be the future Manhig. The same way Hashem promised Moshe Rabeinu that he will lead the Jewish people out of Egypt. Moshe Rabeinu was also promised in the future time he will lead them out of the fire.
That's what he said. That's what it says.
Ki ma she'aya, that which was, hu sheyeh will be. Rashi Tevot, ma she'aya hu, Rashi Tevot Moshe. Moshe Rabeinu is that which was and that which will be. And that's what it says in the Zohar Kadosh, itpashtuta de Moshe bechol dara v'dara. In the Tikkun Zohar. Moshe Rabeinu, his soul is spread out in every single generation. And what's a dor? Da Moshe. Every single generation. When it says dor, a generation, it means the soul of Moshe. The Rabbi Shimon, the Bar Shem Tov, the Rabbi Nachman, the Ari HaKadosh. These chidushim that are coming back to redeem the Bnei Israel from their galut. Which is the galut HaNefesh, the galut of the soul. The story of the lost princess, getting out of that galut. So a person can fall into a sleep of 70 years. But when he wakes up, he realizes that no matter how low the fall is, there's one thing that you have. Chipus, they're searching. So as long as you do not give up from searching be'emet, there's nothing that can take you away from becoming and attaining the levels that the tzaddikim have sought out for us. But what's the problem? We get extremely discouraged. And that's why the inyan of hitchachut is so chashuv. And the tzaddik Moshe Rabeinu is constantly doing that, because Moshe Rabeinu's avodah starts again every single moment. Where it says about the Mashiach, Ani hayom yiditicha, today I gave birth to you. Mashiach's entire inyan, the entire content of the Mashiach, is that right now I am born again, brand new.
Yeah. And do you guys have, in Likutei where like you're talking, you're like, bro, I said this 1,000 times now.
Right.
Like I can't even do this anymore.
One
Has that happened to you?
All the time.
It's the worst, bro. You
All
feel
the
like
time.
you're like, is there even a point to even say what I'm saying?
No, you know,
it's hard.
One time I was like, when I was doing like Ibuladu, talking to Hashem. Wait, how do you pronounce it?
It's okay, bro.
Wait, how do you pronounce it, bro? Just tell me.
No, you're good.
How do you pronounce it? How do you
No.
pronounce it?
Hitbodedut.
Ibuladu, I said it correctly.
You're 100%.
Go, bro.
No, so like sometimes like where like let's say I'll do a sin, and then after I'll talk to Hashem like, I'm sorry, this and that, and then like I'll fall into it again,
Right.
and then then it's like you feel fake to talk, like you feel like I feel like I was so sick with myself saying, yo Hashem, I'm sorry, like the Yitzhak came over was stronger than me, and like I got to the point where I was like so sick of like being fake, where like I'm saying sorry, and I told Hashem, you know, Hashem, I'm not even saying sorry anymore. I'm just gonna try my best every day, and if I fail, I fail. But I'm gonna try every time to go to like not do a certain sin, and try my hardest not to like continue.
Right.
So like
it's hard
it
though.
got to that point where like
Right. Because it feels repetitive, you feel hypocritical.
yes, you feel
Yeah.
hypocritical
Right.
with your own self. So like you're telling Hashem like wait, was that bad that I said that?
No.
It's like, you know, I'm done saying sorry. It's like I'm just gonna do my actions, and then if you decide to like.
Right. But the truth is it means to be a met where you are. If you feel like your sorry isn't real, then at least say Hashem, I'm sorry for not having a real sorry.
You know,
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said that's emet. That's
I'm
big
sorry
emet.
for not having a real sorry. It means be real with Hashem, bro. Get rid of the fake skin.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
So you're saying if you tell Hashem like this, and Hashem, I might fall into a certain sin again, but I'm gonna try.
No, it means to go to Hashem and say, Hashem, I'm drowning. Hashem, I'm drowning, take me out. And chaz v'shalom, if you happen to fall again, it means that what? You go the next day and you say, I'm drowning again.
Bro, it's a war, bro.
It's war every single day. This war.
Why sometimes when you talk to like I talk to Hashem, my head goes blank when I'm praying to like Mincha.
Because
No, this is not Shachar Mechanari.
No, I know when you talk to Hashem with your own words.
Exactly,
No,
but
that's
then.
what they do.
Yeah, I
Separate
know.
from that.
But why does that happen? Because it's very simple, and this is where we'll continue the topic. Tefillah is the highest thing in the world. There is nothing higher than tefillah.
That's a chidush.
What? That's a chidush. Yeah, that's a chidush. For thousands of years, the world, and that was emet, by the way. That was emet. The world put all the emphasis on Torah.
So does it mean you have consciousness if I like?
And by the way, Rabbi Nachman says you need both, because to attain true tefillah, is through Torah.
Tefillah limud, tefillah.
Tefillah, Torah, daven and learn and daven. That's what he says. What is there in the world to do? It says in Sichot Haran. Ma la'asot. What is there to do? Ki'im, daven and learn and daven. Davening, learning and davening.
What do you mean?
Prayer, study prayer.
When you say prayer, sorry, what does that mean? Like what? Like what they do? Like what is that? Like
Pray, study, pray.
However you want to take it.
Perfect.
However you want to take it. Before you open up a sefer of Torah, you should always pray to Hashem that the words that you're studying, you should be bound to the tzaddik.
is Having Mikasha like that counts?
That counts, but it's not. Meaning, why am I praying? Why am I studying? Hashem, help me study the Torah that I should apply it to my heart. When I study Hilchot Tefillin, help me put on the Tefillin with proper kavanah. And then after you study, you ask Hashem to apply the halacha that you studied. But I'm saying, Tefillah, prayer, Tefillah. That's the structure. However you want to take it, whether it's you start in the morning, the first thing you do is Modeh it's Tefillah. Then you go to study Torah, and then you go pray on that which you study. If your Torah is separated from your Tefillah, Rabbi Nachman says, if a person just prays, does not have Torah, it's Toeva. But if a person studies and he does not pray properly, it's Toeva too. You need both of them.
Yeah.
And Hashem is saying, the emet is when you pray on that which you study. That's why Likutei Tefillot is such a chidush. Likutei Tefillot, any person who does not know how to do it, what to do, or cannot have a word, start reading Likutei Tefillot. It will open up every gate and a sinew in your heart that is kasher.
Wait, which one?
I'll give you a book after. So,
Yeah?
Yeah, I give you
Wait,
a
Moshe,
book.
I have a question. What about going against your nature for Hashem? Like doing stuff that it's very hard to do for yourself, but you still do it. And you like
Then Hashem will go against his nature for you.
obviously I knew
It's
that.
a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, that's good value, bro.
The emet,
That's true.
so we'll continue.
Sorry.
No, you're good. The emet is what? Anything that's hard for you, the more mesirut nefesh it takes for you to draw close to Hashem to that thing, the more precious it is before Hashem. So anything that's hard for you, Hashem knows it's hard for you. That's where you have to push in all the effort. Tefillah is one of those things that you have to push in extreme effort. Opening up a book of Torah is extremely hard. And then having kavanah when you open up the book of the Torah is even harder. Everything requires, getting to the tzaddik is one of the hardest things in the world. Just the mental obstacle to be able to get to Eretz Yisrael or to go to Uman for Rosh Hashanah, the obstacles that hit you, they're impossible. But when a person's dat is on his place and he recognizes it with as much ratzon, because he may be far, but he knows how much he needs it, and his ratzon is sky high, there's nothing that stops you.
People will make you feel like
Yeah,
before you get to it, bro.
of course, because that's the entire point, is to make you recognize how big it is.
It was probably the longest travel I've ever did in my life. From what to Rabeinu.
So, what does he say over here? And that's what goes back to the thing. The main thing is to put in all the mesirut nefesh. Moshe Rabeinu was Moshe nefesh, but nefsho b'shvid Yisrael. He gave up a soul for the Jewish people. There wasn't a doubt about it. So what did it say in Tikkun Zohar? Atid kulei leitchadesha al yadat Moshe besof yemaya b'dara batra. In the future, everyone will be renewed through Moshe. Besof yemaya, in the end of days, b'dara batra, in the last generation. Everything is done through Moshe Rabbeinu. L'kai ma'kerat tefafot de pasuk, ma she'aya hu sheyeh. That which was will be, meaning through Moshe Rabbeinu. That which was in the beginning, which Moshe Rabbeinu took us out of Egypt, in the future will be through Moshe Rabbeinu. Uve mimechon shivdo ishkiach, from the dwelling place, from the seat of his dwelling place, hishkiach, he paid attention. Mimechon shivdo hishkiach rashi tevot Moshe. Mimechon, man, shivdo. From the seat of his dwelling place, Ishkiach, he paid attention. Hashem saw already from the future that he sent Moshe. And that's how he paid attention to the Jewish people, through the tzaddik. והתפשטות ההוא בכל דרה ודרה, and so the תיקון הזוהר, תיקון עין, the last תיקון of תיקון הזוהר, that Moshe Rabbeinu's התפשטות, the Moshe Rabbeinu neshama spread throughout every generation. התפשטות דמשה בכל דרה ודרה, וכל צדיק וחכם מתעסק בהוראת האל. Every single tzaddik and chacham that engages in Torah is Moshe Rabbeinu. As you say, Moshe Shapir Kama. We think in the Gemara that the Tanaim and the Moharan used to...
Spoken well.
Yeah, Moshe, you spoken well. They used to praise another chaver that said a beautiful chidush. Moshe, you spoken well. Why? Because the Talmid Chacham, but the true Talmid Chacham, the tzaddik, is Moshe. He's an aspect of Moshe. He had the spark of Moshe within him. עד שיטין בכל צדיק וחכם דמתעסק בהורתה, עד שיטין ריבו, up until 600,000. להשלמה לכולו מפגימו דילהון. To complete everyone from their blemishes. To perfect everyone from their blemishes. That's Moshe Rabbeinu's job. Moshe Rabbeinu is a soul that is 600,000 souls within his own soul. 600,000 neshamot. That is contained within him, and within him, like Rabbi Nachman said before he went to Eretz Israel, I cannot go to sleep. Because all 600,000 letters of the Torah pass before my eyes. I cannot go to sleep until every single letter of the Torah has passed before my eyes.
What does that mean?
It means Rabbi Nachman had a kesher to every single soul that came. Every single soul, every single Jewish soul. It means he understood everyone. From start to finish. And there wasn't a person that he did not understand, did not feel for. And we see this in Chai Moharan, where Rabbi Nachman says that I pray to Hashem to feel the pain of a person coming to me more than the person himself is feeling. A person came to Rabbi Nachman with a sickness, a pain in the hand. Rabeinu put himself in the position to feel that pain more than the man himself. Because when you're in the shoes of the person, that's when you can be a true Rachaman. Because you understand where he's coming from. Like Rabbi Nachman says, I'm a tree that has beautiful branches, but ani munach ba'aretz. I'm in the earth. Meaning I'm in your aretz, I'm in your artziut. The same way you guys are in the ba'aretz. But you know when Rabbi Yehuda came to Rabbi Nachman, the famous student Rabbi Yehuda, who was like the chaver Rav of Rav Shmuel Isaac, when they both came together to draw close to Rabbi Nachman, they traveled all the way from Dashev to Zatepalia before Rabeinu in Breslev, etc. Whenever they drew close to Rabeinu, 300 kilometers they traveled. Until they came, and Rabbi Yehuda came to Rabbi Nachman, and he looked at him and he said, Rabeinu, yoreh lanu derech ba'avodat Hashem. Teach us a way ba'avodat Hashem. And you know Rabbi Nachman responded, Ladat, you want to know? Ba'aretz darkecha. Like it says in Tehillim. You want to know? Ba'aretz darkecha, your ways in the earth. What do you know about avodat Hashem? That's what he told Rabbi Yehuda. When Rabbi Yehuda heard that, and Rabbi Yehuda was a master in Kabbalah. He knew all of Kitvei Avot. Rabbi Yehuda was praying from the Sidur HaKavanot. There was one of the couple students that were praying from the Sidur of the Ari HaKadosh. That Rabbi Nachman said it's not good to pray B'Kavanot. There was a couple students that prayed B'Kavanot that Rabeinu gave them the shur to do. Rabbi Yehuda was one of them. Isaac, these great tzaddikim that prayed the Magid Teravitza. Were praying with the Sidur of the Ari HaKadosh, all the Kavanot, they knew all the Kavanot by heart, they knew Etz Chaim, they knew all the Shar Kavanot, Shar Mitzvot, everything. Shar Gilgulim, they knew all the Sodot and the principles of Kabbalah. And he comes to him and Rabbi Nachman says, Ladad, Ba'aretz Darkecha, you want to know Avodat Hashem? Ba'aretz Darkecha. It was a busha for Rabbi Yehuda. And how did he draw close? He took it. He stayed silent within the busha. He approached and Rabeinu said it again. Ladad, Ba'aretz Darkecha. This happened a couple times until Rabbi Yehuda was mamash lowered himself to be able to attain a higher madriga. So these tzaddikim, if they were not attached to Rabbi Nachman, we would have written stories about them, like the Baal Shem Tov and the what do you call it? All the tzaddikim, like the Baratanya, like all these great tzaddikim. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak. We would have sfarim about these tzaddikim. Chaval al azman the sfarim that they would have. But what is their gedula? In the fact that they were attached to Rabbi Nachman. And that's an anava. That's an anava what the tzaddikim attained. They threw away everything. For the Magid of Teravitza in his 70s, to come to Rabbi Nachman when he's in his 20s, before he went to Eretz Israel, the Magid of Teravitza was 70s. Rabbi Nachman traveled 2 years to Israel, came back, and the Magid of Teravitza heard Rabeinu had arrived. He ran all the way. He was 7 years old. He ran a mile, 2 miles to go visit the Rabbi Nachman. He ran faster than the carriage. 70, bro. Imagine you see a 70-year-old run across La Brea, bro. How long is it gonna take him to get to the shul?
You can't go from the bathroom to
Right.
you see that
Exactly. He needs a little thing. I'm saying that's what we're talking about. But the Maggid of Terovitza saw the chidush that Rabeinu was, and there's stories and stories and stories and stories.
Yeah.
So why is he Rabbi Nachman Rachman Amiti? Why is Moshe Rabeinu Rachman Amiti? Because he understands the problem everyone's going through. You know the Maggid of Terovitza drew close to Rabbi Nachman? The Maggid of Terovitza, who was a chaber of Rabbi Pinchas Mikoret, who was, Rabbi Nachman said, the tzaddik hador after the Baal Shem Tov.
Who was it?
Rabbi Pinchas Mikarit was a chidush. Rabbi Pinchas of Koretz was one of the big tzaddikim at the time of the Baal Shem Tov. Was chaber of the Baal Shem Tov. The Maggid of Terovitza was a chaber of Rabbi Pinchas Mikoret. A big tzaddik. Rabbi Nachman said about him after the Baal Shem Tov passed away that he was a unique one in the generation. You know the Maggid of Terovitza drew close to Rabbi Nachman? To show you that Rabbi Nachman's rachmanut extended to every single person. And it was very unique and intimate to each and every person where they were. The Maggid of Terovitza had one question in his life. You know what it was? After years of Avodat Hashem, he had one question. He said, why is it that all the tzaddikim throughout history, all the Tanaim, all the Amorim, we don't have Sfarim? Bro, we have the Zohar.
It's good. It's a really
We don't have any Sfarim, and they all wrote Sfarim. Rav Ashi, Rabina. Forget the Gemara for a second. You don't think Rav Abaye, Hillel Shammai, they all wrote Sfarim?
So are they?
That's the question.
That's a good, really good question.
And by the way, it's true. Where are all the Sfarim of all the tzaddikim throughout history? All the Tanaim, all the Amoraim, the books of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, everything.
What do you think it is?
Summarize.
So what did he say? He asked this question to all the tzaddikim, and he never got a response that fit him, that he liked. Until one day, he was told that Rabbi Nachman, a big tzaddik, had come to town, and that he was giving a Torah. So he went to go listen to the Torah. And as he walked into the class, or as he walks into the Torah, you know Rabeinu's Torah he was giving? Torah about why the tzaddikim don't have Sfarim.
Oh, man.
And he explains over there how, if not for the Sfarim and tzaddikim which have disappeared, then we would have no hope as a Jewish people. You know why? Because the tzaddikim Sfarim disappeared only to protect us from the Sfarim of the Epikosim, the books of philosophy, that are so strong, and their Epikosu, their dat is so strong that the only way to have annulled that decree is for the tzaddikim's books to have been burnt, to be burned.
That's the crazy sound.
So Rabbi Nachman explains how the connection is that if not for the Sfarim and tzaddikim not being written, that we don't know where they are, we would have no hope today for the Jewish people. And when he heard that, he understood that Rabeinu was a chidush, because not only that, he knew he was coming to the class and he gave that Torah.
I missed the first one. Who's coming to class?
Rabbi Maggid of Terovitza. The Maggid of Terovitza.
I feel like how is that? Like, why was it so applicable to him?
Because that was the one question of his life.
Oh my gosh.
Of what? Of why do the tzaddikim not have Sfarim?
I missed the whole intro.
That was one of his questions.
I can't find him on YouTube. I mean, on
Maggid of Terovitza? Oh,
yeah. No, on Google.
Rabbi Yekutiel of Terovitza. Tiravitza. Rabbi Yekutiel of
Did they all
Terovitza.
play this episode?
Was a big tzaddik.
That's crazy. But they for sure had books.
Of course, but they were all disappeared, they all got lost, etc. We know how many Sfarim who got lost, you know? Yechezkel had a sefer about all the books of Refuah.
What? I'm so confused.
They got burned to prevent us from not praying. Every tzaddik had a sefer. We don't think all the greatest tzaddikim wrote Sfarim. David HaMelech wrote way more than Tehillim.
Yeah, makes sense.
Saying David HaMelech was determining which blood of Nida was pure and not pure all night at Chatzot. You don't think David HaMelech wrote Sfarim?
We wrote Tehillim.
Wrote Tehillim. I'm saying aside from Tehillim, you don't think David HaMelech wrote just something aside from Tefillot?
The OG Likutei Tefillah.
Tehillim is
I'm
Was
rather
he,
that.
The
was,
greatest
he,
thing.
was he a chazan?
no.
Oh, you want to say Tehillim? You mean,
So we'll finish the line.
I'm good.
So that's
I'll stick to the
Ki mera. So what is the pasuk at the beginning? Ki merachama minahagem, because with compassion he will lead them. He will lead them. Minahagem. That's the language in the Nevi'im. He will lead them. Why? To teach us that Moshe Rabeinu will lead. It's speaking about then, it's speaking about now, even more so. Meaning Hashem's Rachmanut is on every single generation. The tzaddikim, Hashem sends us the tzaddikim to have Rachmanut on us, every single generation. So what did he say over here? We see the Rachmanut of Moshe Rabeinu, and this is where I'll finish off. Because what? This is what you were reading, that Ikar Adam Wadat, the essence of a man is dat, it's consciousness, it's awareness of Hashem. Umisha eno dat, and one who does not have dat, eno mina yishuv, he's not part of this world, he's not part of the yishuv. He's not part of the settlement of the world.
And the Mevin.
Huh? The Dalavini?
What did he say? English or Hebrew? Choose one.
No, I'm serious.
What, like?
That kid in Dazal Mevin, what is it?
Oh, Dazami Lemeheve.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the future,
yeah.
I will be.
He's laughing. Right? He's laughing, buddy.
Yeah, he's being a man.
No, because meaning you don't exist.
Of course, exactly. You do not exist if you do not have that. When you don't do teshuvah, you're not here.
You're welcome.
Chaverim. He's not considered an Adam at all. He's a Behemah. Behemah tova, a Behemah is better than him.
Oh, he says that?
Why? But why is that the case? Because
But
what does it say in the Gemara?
At least it says a corpse isn't better than him.
That's it. With the
So it's
that's
12.
regard to a mitnaged, who's a person who speaks against
A
tzaddik.
shed UD, what is it?
That's a corpse?
No. Rabbi Nachman saying that in Torah 12, where a person who is mitnaged on tzaddik and speaks against him words of attack, ga'ava, babuz, a person like this is nevela emenu.
Yeah.
Tova emenu. A nevela is better than him. Rabbi Nachman said, look at it in the Gemara Kiddushin, daf mem with that. בכל שאינו לא במקרא ולא במשנה ולא בדרך ארץ, anyone who does not have מקרא, משנה, דרך ארץ, אינו מן היישוב. So what did he say over here? So what did Rabbi Natan say in Likutei Lachot? And we'll finish off with this thing. Ari, how much time do we have left?
We have like 4 minutes.
Okay. Ikar Rachmanut, the main essence of Rachmanut, true compassion, liskot le'da'at me'elokutoi yitbarach, is to recognize Hashem's name, to recognize Hashem, to recognize godliness, to know of Hashem. V'zeh b'chinat remach mitzvot aseh shebatorah. This compares to the 248 positive commandments of the Torah. And what did it say? What did we say also? Why was the world created? The Zohar HaKadosh says, Begin de'ishtemot de'in. Why was Israel created? So that we should know Hashem. Begin de'ishtemot de'in. That. So that we should know Hashem. To recognize Hashem. Kedil lehasig v'ladat al yadam et haborei b'Hashem. Why were the 248 positive commandments of the Torah given? So that we can recognize Hashem. So that we can come to perceive Hashem. This is why the 248 positive commandments have the same numerical value as Rachem, which is Rachmanut, compassion. 248. Because the 248 positive commandments of the Torah are the essential compassion of Hashem to give us the ability to perceive Him, to get a vision, a window into God's greatness. Then you are called an Adam when you fulfill the 248 mitzvot of the Torah. This is the Torah of man, Adam. When you are attached to the Torah, you're considered Adam because Torah is da'at.
Oh wow.
Because if not, you're a chaya bidmut adam. You're a wild animal in the form of a man, but you're no better than a chaya. You're no better than a bull.
In Parshat Vayikra, it talks about the covenant, right? It opens up Adam ki akriv niken. Wow, that's crazy.
Amazing. Adam ki akriv, exactly.
It's like
exactly.
If you're not that, you're bad on him.
Amazing. This is the essential Rachmanut. And this is what Moshe Rabeinu is doing. Moshe Rabeinu being that is showing everyone else that. He's bringing us to his level. To the point where the lowest person on the Yam saw even what Yechezkel HaNavi could not see. Because a low person attached to the Tzaddik Ha'emet gets a consciousness that even a big Tzaddik on his own does not have. So this is where we finish off. You're an animal in the form of a man if you're not a person with that. Moshe Rabeinu had true compassion. He was engaged in settling the world. That the world should be filled and settled by people. Bnei Adam though, not just animals in the forms of humans. People be'emet, with that. Hanu bene de'akanan, meaning people with consciousness. Ki hu patach lanu or hadat, because he opened up the gateways of dat, the light of dat. Kemo shekatuv, and it says, Ata horet al hadat, ki Hashem hu Elokim. You showed, you illuminated that Hashem is Elokim. What is Hashem is Elokim? Yudke Vavke is Elokim. There's no difference between Midat Adin and Midat Arachamim. It's all Hashem, it's all Rachmanut. Ki Moshe patach et hadat v'gila lanu ki yesh Elokim shalit ba'aretz. Because Hashem opened up the dat and He showed us that there is an Elokim that is ruling over the world. And that is true Rachmanut. That is Moshe Rabeinu at the highest level, and that's what we are striving for. B'ezrat Hashem. Shav the merit, be'emet, apply what we did. And we'll continue with what Gima next.
Chazak u'baruch.